Hi professional, have you ever thought that why PMI introduced the principles in the PMBOK version 7? Because before that, from PMBOK version 1 to PMBOK version 6, there are different processes. In the PMBOK version 6, there are 49 such processes. And why they drastically change from the process-oriented project management framework to the principle-driven. So what is the importance of the principles and why it is required at this moment? So all these questions we are going to be discussed and understand in this video. So stay tuned till the last moment. Are you ready? Let's begin. So as you see over here, there is a radical change from the process-driven project management framework to the principle-driven project management framework. And why? Because we all are living in a VUCA world that is extremely volatile and uncertain, complex and ambiguous. Things are radically changing. If I wanted to give you an example, let's consider the Industrial Revolution. So in the Industrial Revolution first, that is based on the steam and mechanical things, the production is very manual. Then there is a shift from the Industrial Revolution 1 to the 2 that is based on the mass production through the assembly line and electrification of the things. Then Industrial Revolution 3 that is based on the electronics, computers and other things. And now currently we are living in Industrial Revolution 4 that is IoTs and other things. There is a virtual line in a very fusion of all the technologies, and that is the reason that things are not remain the constant, things are changing. So if we are following the processes that is defined a decade ago, and that is very bureaucratic processes, that is rigid processes, then there is very painful experience to execute the things. So in that environment, the focus is remain to process following, but they are forget the outcomes. And that is the reason there are many projects are collapsed. They are for the compliance part, they will manage the boundaries, but they are not getting the business output. So what is the solution? We have to define the principles, that is what we wanted to achieve, how we wanted to achieve, and based on these principles we define the processes. So if tomorrow you wanted to change certain processes based on the demand of the hours, or some processes are become redundant or not useful for your project, in that case you change those processes, but underlying principles remain intact. So there is the very useful environment needs to be created, and that is the reason why PMBOK 7 come up with the principles driven approach, because now there is a high time for us to come up with a solution that is required to execute the project, and that is the reason value delivery. So before we understand different principles, let's understand what is the dictionary meaning of the principles. So it says that a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of a belief or a behavior or for chain of reasoning. So this is a guiding principles, we said, that will give us a direction or a guidance how to do the things. That is not rigidly. So any principles you take, there are some basic characteristics remain intact. The acronym to remember what are the basic characteristics associated with the principles, that is USE. U stand for universal. So all principles are universals, means principles that can be applicable irrespective of the industry in which you are working, whether you are executing project of a civil industry or civil project, or you are doing IT software development project, or you are launching a satellite. So irrespective of what would be the industry, your principles remain intact. There is self-validating. Self-validating means whatever the principles, there should not be a cross or conflicts between the principles. So there is a self-validating characteristic. And empowering. The person or the organization who is following those principles, that will give them empowerment to definitely execute the project in a good manner. So these are the three characteristics required to manage the principles. Now we are discussing what are the different popular principles. So it is not like that before the PMP, there are no principles. So as you see over here, that 7 principles are based, given by the Prince 2, they are based on the 7 principles. Then Lean is also having the 7 principles. We are not going in detail of what are the 7 principles of the different things, but I just wanted to give you a overview, an idea or high level idea that these are the principles. Like in Agile Manifesto, they are also following that 12 principles, and PMP with the PMBOK7, which recently launched in 2021, they also come up with the 12 principles. So this 7 or 12 might seem like magical numbers, but this is really useful that they had covered all that aspects. And these 12 principles, there are many myths that we are going to be bust. So first, there is no ascending or descending orders. You need to remember all these principles, and there is no weightage that one principle is very high value and other principles. So there are principles are for professionals that serve as the foundational guideline for strategic decision making and problem solving. Principles can but not necessarily reflect the morals. For moral values, we have a code of conduct or ethics that related to the morals. The PMI ethics and the professional conduct is based on the 4 values. So I just want to give you a clarity, because most of the time people get confused with the PMI code of conduct and the principle, but there is not necessary. So this PMI code of conduct or ethics are based on these 4 values, that is responsibility, respect, fairness, and the honesty. So these 12 principles of project management are aligned with the values defined in the PMI code of conduct, but that not necessary to follow the same format, and they are not duplicative. Rather than PMI principles and the code of ethics are complementary with each other. So this is just an idea about why these principles and what is the importance. In our next session, we are discussing each and every principles in detail. So be tuned with our upcoming session. Thank you very much for your attention. Be subscribe for this video so you get more such PMI and project management things. Thank you very much.